Hey everyone, welcome to Cobra Kai Kompanion. My name is Peter. As I continue to upload some of our older interviews, ultimately hoping to get them all up on the channel, this one was interview number 2 with Hannah Kepple, who played Moon. You'll also hear Tom, who at the time was the co-host of this coverage. Back then, we were on a TV podcast called TV Ate My Brain. So at this point, we had not yet started our podcast, Cobra Kai Kompanion. But now that we have this YouTube channel, I will be uploading as soon as I can all the previous interviews we had as we wait for season 3. So hope you guys enjoy it.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Kepple and I play Moon on the TV series Cobra Kai, and right now you're listening to TV Ate My Brain.
Welcome to another episode of TV Ate My Brain, the official TV podcast of Core Temp Arts, the Cobra Kai edition. And I am Peter, also host of Podstalgic.
And I'm Tom, co-host of a little show called Jake and Tom Conquer the World.
And today we have a bonus episode, another interview. This time, Tom joins me and we get to talk to Hannah Kepple, who played Moon from Cobra Kai.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I had no idea that she was only 17, and she's incredibly well-spoken for her age.
Yeah, not only is she 17, she's a junior in high school. Let that sink in for a sec.
Now, it turns out that not only is she a junior in high school, but this was also her first film credit, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. She mentions this is the first time she's on film. And, she shares her experience auditioning, filming some of the scenes. And we learn a little bit about her, too. So it was really nice to know, the young lady behind the character.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so hope you guys enjoy it. This is our episode. Okay, so I guess we'll just kind of jump right into it. Hannah, for those that maybe, I don't know, I guess you're listening to this interview if you have seen Cobra Kai, but maybe for those that aren't too familiar with the show, can you talk a little bit about yourself? Are you currently still in school?
Yes, I am a junior in high school, and I actually finish up school in 2 weeks, my junior year.
And are you from North Carolina?
Yes, I'm from North Carolina, and that's where I'm living right now.
Oh, interesting. So is that also where you started participating in theater? Was there in your hometown?
Yes, so I grew up doing musical theater. I did a lot of work at community theaters, and then I did a lot of professional theater work at our state theater. And then I pursued film the beginning of high school, and it's just kind of evolved. And Cobra Kai was my first job.
Now, tell me a little bit about your performance in Wizard of Oz as Dorothy.
Oh, yeah, that was my first job working in a professional theater. I was in the 8th grade.
Wow.
And I auditioned. Yes, it was an incredible experience. It was kind of my first time working with professionals and really kind of understanding what it is to be a professional actor and work in that sort of environment. And so it was very educational. I had a wonderful cast and crew, and I really learned a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing because I actually found an article, the writer who attended the play, they really gave you kudos, for singing Over the Rainbow. And
yes.
Yeah, so it showed you a lot of love in their writing.
It's very, very kind, yes. It was a wonderful experience, and I'm so glad people enjoyed it.
Now, what do you prefer so far? Live theater or being on like a sound stage or a set?
I definitely prefer film. I've really grown to love it and love the whole set life. But theater is definitely my first love. I grew up doing it. I still get butterflies in my stomach every time I get on stage. But film is what I want to do. It's ever since I started doing Cobra Kai, I woke up every morning loving what I was doing.
I gotta imagine that it's challenging as well, performing in front of a live audience because there's the margin for error is very little, right? As opposed to filming, you guys can do different takes and stuff.
Very true. With film, you can do multiple takes, but with live theater, if you have a live audience, yeah, you just, if you make a mistake, you kind of got to go with it, maybe improv or do the best you can. But also, it's a whole other feeling, you know, receiving that automatic feedback from a live audience. And there's not really anything like it. So it's wonderful. It really is.
So you really do enjoy the audience interaction as well?
I do. Oh, yeah. To hear somebody laugh at a joke you tell or something your character does, it just automatically makes you feel, it's hard to explain the feeling. It's really powerful to have that connection with an audience, just right away.
Is there like a play that you would love to be a part of?
Oh gosh, I have so many dream roles growing up in musical theater.
What about
I would
Wicked,
love to be
since you do Wizard of Oz?
Wicked. Yes, I love Wicked. I got to see that on Broadway when I was younger for my birthday, and it blew me away. I'd love to be in Wicked. It's such a cool story, and it really shows you kind of a different side of those characters.
Yeah, it really does. And kind of like Cobra Kai a little bit. You know, you get to see a different side. Yeah, so...
Exactly.
So being a junior, how did you get involved with Cobra Kai? Was there, do you have like an agent that, you know, found the audition for you, or how did that come about?
Yes. So how I got into film was I became a part of an agency here in North Carolina. I started auditioning and taking some acting classes. And yeah, Cobra Kai was just another audition. I almost didn't do it because I wasn't going to make my audition time. But my agent convinced me. They're like, you know, this is going to be a really cool project. Come on, maybe you should audition. I was like, okay, let's reschedule. And so I ended up auditioning. And then I got a call back, and I went to Georgia. And then after my call back, I heard back pretty soon that I had booked it.
You know, that is one thing that I actually found out while I was interviewing Joe. And Tom,
I love Joe.
Yeah, Tom, did you know that it was filmed in Georgia?
Yes, I saw in the closing credits the big Georgia peach at the very end.
So, I mean, I knew some of it was on location in California, you know, specifically some of those set pieces from the original movie. Hannah, what were the scenes or the locations that were filmed in Georgia?
As far as I know, majority of the show was in Georgia because we did a lot of shoots on a lot. They had a lot of sets that were built in Georgia, and then I think they did a few shots out in LA as well.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of our scenes in Georgia. Yeah, that's where I did all of my work.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
When Johnny and Daniel go to his old apartment, that's probably like one of the few LA locations I would imagine.
So,
yeah.
I think so.
So the tournament was also, that's Georgia?
Yes, that was Georgia. And
Wow.
the funny thing about the tournament was I'm pretty sure that was one of the scenes that took the longest to film because we were dealing with weather issues. We got a couple of inches of snow, and we had to leave one day. Leave set early because the snow was coming down so hard.
Oh, wow. In Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's some great set decoration and great storytelling because if I hadn't seen that big Georgia peach at the end of the closing credits, I'd have never known.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's also moments where, you know, the Cobra Kai, they're actually like waiting outside of the tournament, and obviously that was probably filmed a different day. No snow.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me what the audition was like. Did you audition for the role of Moon?
Yes. I auditioned for the role of Moon. First, I did maybe 3 short scenes for my first audition. And then when I found out I got a call back, they also sent me a script with, I think, 2 more scenes maybe. And then I performed those scenes in front of some of the writers and producers and people in Atlanta for my callback.
Were they just generic scenes, or were they actually some of Moon's scenes?
I'm trying to think. I think that they were all scenes that I ended up doing for the show.
Okay. Now, did they film the episodes kind of like in numerical order, or did they, kind of focus on the tournament on one day, or how did the shooting go, the shooting schedule?
They went in numerical order for the most part. I'm pretty sure it was numerical order. They had to switch around some episodes in the sense of like weather and having certain people there. But they followed the order pretty strictly, I think.
And so when you weren't filming, were you going back to school? How did that work? Did you have to be in Georgia the entire time for the shoot?
So no, I traveled back and forth from North Carolina and Georgia. So I would find out my schedule, and then I would drive down to Atlanta. I would film for a couple of days, and then I would drive back, and then I would go to my public high school.
The schedule must have been really, really crazy, juggling school and filming. Was it something where they asked you not to kind of talk about your work at school, or like non-disclosures or anything like that?
I don't remember them ever deliberately asking me not to talk about it. Of course, I was told never to give any information pertaining to the plot or the storyline. But I was allowed to say that I was involved. But I think I didn't publicly announce it, or it wasn't publicly announced until I think the show officially said that I was a part of the project. And then that's when I started like posting about it. But they never told me that I couldn't talk to my friends or family about it while we were filming.
What was the reception at school like when the show first aired?
Gosh, so a couple of people knew that I was a part of the show, some close friends and a few other people in my classes. And when it was released, I had a lot of people coming up to me and messaging me about it. The feedback was so much more intense than I thought it would be, but it was all positive. Everybody really loved it, especially a lot of the original fans. A lot of my friends and people in my classes, their parents grew up with The Karate Kid, and so they kind of grew up with it as well, and they were very pleased with the show, and they thought it was so neat that I got to be a part of it. It's been really wonderful to talk with people about it at school.
I was going to ask if you had any exposure to any of the previous Karate Kid movies prior to this.
So I of course saw the original one. I love that movie. I've watched it several times with my family growing up. I don't think I've seen the second. And then is there a third one as well?
There's a third one and a fourth one actually,
yes,
with Hilary Swank.
Yes, okay, so the fourth one is with her. But I have seen the remake with Will Smith's son, and that came out a couple years ago. I remember seeing that one. But I never saw Karate Kid 2 or 3 or 4, but I saw the original one.
That's all that matters. But I think I think the others do have a bit of a special place in my heart, especially 2 because the focus is kind of on Mr. Miyagi in that one. So did you have an idea if this would be something big? Did you get the sense that this was going to be something special at all, or?
Well, from the beginning, I knew it was going to be something special. For me personally, I knew it was going to be special because it was my first project, my first kind of just step into this film industry. But I also knew it was going to be very special because it was Ralph Macchio and William Zabka coming back and really giving their whole heart to this project, as well as all of the new cast members that were coming into it. And everybody has just been so passionate about it throughout filming. We all had such a great time. Everybody was so encouraging. And it was just very, very evident that everybody really cared about this show. But I mean, I figured The Karate Kid is iconic. It's a classic. And we just hoped that people would receive Cobra Kai with such warm adoration as the original movie. So that's just kind of what we hoped for. I didn't really expect anything. I expected it to do well, but I just had no idea.
Yeah, I actually just checked the stats on YouTube, and the first episode has going on 35 million hits. That's got to make you feel proud.
It's crazy. Yes, it's so wonderful.
Did you expect the announcement for season 2 so quickly? Because usually they wait at least a little while before announcing anything. So, I mean, it kind of took me by shock. I can't imagine what it was like on your end.
No, I was very surprised. I knew that it was a possibility, and I was hoping for it, but it was very fast that they announced it. So I was very excited.
You haven't heard anything yet about season 2, whether or not Moon will be returning?
I can't really give anything away.
Okay.
Ah,
All right.
I'm personally hoping to see maybe an appearance of her. I don't want her to just root on Hawk. I want her to actually join Cobra Kai. I think that would be awesome.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is I would love to learn karate. Let me tell you.
I bet.
I would love to train.
You know, from my perspective, like Moon's story isn't finished. You know, we last see her with Hawk, so I think that needs to be addressed at the least. You know,
yes.
so we're definitely crossing our fingers for you. I mean, in our review, you know, we mentioned a very kind of a pivotal scene for your character. You know, where we're just like, well, kudos to the writing and to the young actress that gets to play this role that's basically against type. You know, and that's kind of what you get from a lot of the other characters on the show as well.
Yeah.
Who have you became really close with while shooting?
So I was one of a couple other, I guess, kids, you would say, who were minors, and we had to do school together on set. Because while you're filming, you have to have a certain amount of set hours where you do school. And so I became very close to some of those people. We hung out a little bit, and those were Gianni, Sholo, Jacob, and Nicole. So we talked a lot in school. We hung out a little bit when we had scenes together. And I also became very close to Annalisa and Mary, who play Yasmin and Sam, because those were the girls that I primarily had my scenes with. And they're both older than me. They're both, I think Mary's 22 now, and Annalisa is 21. So they're a little bit older than me, but they were so kind to me. They gave me so much advice. We became very close, and it was so encouraging to have them there helping me out.
That's amazing. You know, that must be nice to have some women that were a little bit more experienced to kind of help you out as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's something that I think the audience, we always kind of wonder how old are certain people. I think, you know, I have seen Mary in other things before, and I was surprised to find you're still in school. I know there's a number of other kids as well. But Gianni, isn't he also like 16 years old?
Yes, Gianni. I think Gianni might be the youngest out of all of us, maybe.
There's that one that's like really little and gets his butt kicked.
His character is Bert, I think.
Yeah, he buys the dirty magazine at the end.
I'm trying to think of his name. He's so funny. And then, of course, Griffin, who plays Mary's brother in the show, he was so funny. He was a lot of fun to talk to on set.
Ah, yes, Antonio LaRusso.
Yes.
So, Gianni is Dimitri. Who's Jacob? Is that
Hawk.
Is that Hawk?
Yes,
Eli?
Yes.
Okay, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Bertrand.
Yes, Jacob Bertrand.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Did you, Mary and like Annalisa, did you guys have like a little name for your guys' clique? Because I know some people do that.
You know, I don't think we did. I know that we were called the Mean Girls for a little while.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I think we kind of referenced that Annalisa as probably like the, what's her name for Mean Girls?
Regina George.
Yeah, her. Like she was kind of supposed to be like that character.
And
right.
Moon's a little bit of Karen, a little bit.
Yeah, we can see that. So let's talk about some of the scenes. The first episode is where we first see you guys in the car, and you guys kind of T-bone Billy's car. Was that also your first scene shooting?
Yes, that was my first time ever in front of a camera on a set, and it was very intimidating to say the least. It was at night. Everybody was getting ready. We actually had stunt doubles for that scene because they had those for like the actual impact and some other parts of the scene. But I was honestly a little terrified. Everything was just so intimidating with the lights and the cameras, and my heart was racing, but I talked with Mary and Annalisa, and we were laughing by the time we got in the car, and I really relaxed, and we had really a lot of fun that night. It was fun to scream and act terrified.
Did you guys or did you meet Billy before that, or because I'm wondering if they try to get like an organic reaction by having him run up to the car. So did you guys meet him beforehand?
So the first time that I met Billy was at our table read for the first 2 episodes, I think it was.
I see.
So
okay.
I had met Billy. I know that Mary had met Billy. I'm not sure if Annalisa had. But we didn't. We talked to Billy a little bit while he was on set that night. But we kind of gave him some space so he could get in the mindset that he needed to. But we were kind of distanced from everybody because we were in the car the most of the time, and it kind of felt like we were in our own space.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned table reads. What kind of rehearsal or preparation time did they give you for this?
So table reads are really just reading through the episodes as a cast. Like we did it for episodes 1 and 2, and I think they did 1 or 2 others. I'm not sure. I wasn't there for all of them. And I don't know if I would categorize it as a rehearsal, but I think it's just kind of getting all the cast there, reading through the story. But a lot of times when it came to rehearsals, fights are different. You have to train, and stunt work, like that's a whole other, that takes a lot more time. But sometimes before a scene, if you needed to know like where you were going, or different aspects of it, we would talk about it really quick. We call it our rehearsal. Then we would go back to our trailers, and we would make sure we had all of our stuff on, our makeup's all good, and then we would come back to set, and then we would shoot it.
Well, if you don't mind my saying, that actually makes everything with this show that much more impressive, to know that you guys didn't have that much prep time as far as basic traditional rehearsal. That's really impressive.
Yeah, I can't speak from a lot of experience because Cobra Kai is all I've known so far. But I think a lot of times with scenes, you don't want to overwork them. It should really be organic, and you're going to have to do so many takes anyways with, like while you're filming. So I think rehearsals are more about just understanding what's going on before you get the cameras rolling. So pertaining to training and the fights and everything, that's very elaborate and very impressive.
Now, what was the swimming pool scene like? That's where, if I remember correctly, Moon is actually filming somebody jumping off of a diving board for her YouTube channel, which was a little nice nod there to YouTube. But Daniel shows up. Can you talk about what was it like on set and shooting that scene?
So that was the first and the kind of only scene really that I had with Ralph Macchio himself. So that was really cool. But that day we shot the location of the house, and the house was absolutely beautiful. Inside and out, it was really stunning. And we actually filmed that in October in Atlanta, and we were worried it was going to be cold, but it wasn't too bad. Thank goodness I didn't have to get in the water. But and in the South, it's getting pretty cold by October. But it took most of the day to film that, but it was really fun. It really did feel like a party, and yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked like it. How much backstory did they give you for your character, and how much did you actually have to kind of make it up yourself to be able to portray that character?
So for Moon, for Moon, I got kind of a basis of like who she was, kind of a few characteristics, and then I kind of had to read the scripts for myself and kind of decipher, and like you see the friendships that she has, and then eventually she has the thing with Hawk, and then she decides that she's going to stand up for them against Yasmin. So it was a lot. They gave me kind of a basis, and then of course they give direction. But it was kind of figuring out who she was kind of on my own, and how I wanted to to show her.
Did you decide to play her any differently after reading that there's a marijuana scene?
Yes, so that is definitely a part of who she is. I had a few scenes where I chose to use that a little bit. But I mean, it was a small aspect, and I portrayed what I needed to with that scene in particular in the car. Yes.
What was filming that scene like? Because there's the homeless lady. Forgive me, I don't have her name in front of me, but she's, you guys are talking about like, oh, don't make eye contact and all of that. I think it's one of the funniest scenes in the entire first season. But what was
so
that
glad.
like? Well, did you guys have to improvise any of that, or?
That was mostly script. Yes. And I was very excited. I love that scene. That was kind of my biggest scene, dialogue wise. And I thought it was so funny. I did it for my callback, I remember, and I loved it automatically. I thought it was hilarious. For me, it was a scene that showed you a little bit more of who Moon was, in the sense that, she's kind of following Yasmin's example, but when it comes to the homeless woman, she really cares that she isn't offended. Like, she cares how she feels. Because, she says, well, won't that look bad doing that right in front of her? Locking the doors. So
Right.
she does really care about people. She has that genuine emotion, although sometimes she's a little oblivious. But that scene was a lot of fun. It really was.
Yeah, it's definitely funny. I think any scene with a homeless woman also is it's definitely played for laughs.
Yes, she's fantastic.
You kind of touched on Moon's trait of kind of being mindful of how other people feel. Can you talk about the beach scene where, we find out in dialogue that she apologized to Aisha, played by Nicole, and basically kind of switching sides there, tells Yasmin that she should apologize as well.
Yeah, that scene is very pivotal for Moon. I think that it really shows that Moon cares about other people, like I said before. And I don't think it's that she decided in that moment that she's completely ditching Yasmin, but I think she was really trying to give her the opportunity to be the better person and to apologize. Because I think that Yasmin and Moon, they've been so dependent on each other. Yasmin makes the joke, Moon laughs. Moon's her sidekick, and I think that Moon really made the decision that she didn't want to be that anymore. That she really likes this boy, and she likes these people. They're genuinely nice, and she doesn't see what's wrong with them. And so I think it shows that she doesn't agree, and she kind of has a mind of her own. But I think she also really values Yasmin's friendship. So I will be curious to see what happens, and see kind of what happens with their friendship, because I think that they really care about each other, Yasmin and Moon, but I think that maybe they're going to go in different directions. Who knows?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out because at this point, it's really Yasmin and Kyler that are kind of the villains of the show.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Kyler, I had Peter ask Joe this. I'm going to go ahead and ask you. Now, Moon, her friend Sam, is obviously the daughter of Daniel. Her boyfriend is the student of Johnny. Is Moon Team Johnny, or is she Team Daniel? And what about yourself? Are you Team Johnny or Team Daniel?
Oh gosh.
Because there's a lot of gray between those characters. It's not black and white like it was in the movies.
It's true. Moon, honestly, I don't think she knows yet, but maybe she's more inclined to Cobra Kai because Hawk is there. But you never know. Maybe she's gonna like the whole vibe of the Miyagi Dojo.
I was gonna say she could easily go either way. It's an interesting character. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. It's yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see. Personally, gosh, I don't. So watching the originals, of course, I was Team LaRusso, but now with Cobra Kai, you kind of see Johnny's side, and Gosh, I don't know. Maybe when I see what Moon decides, maybe I'll kind of sway with her decision.
Good answer.
That's fair.
Yeah.
To kind of spoil it, Joe picked Kyler's side.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I want to ask about shooting because you mentioned the shooting for the tournament took almost all day. And I saw on your Instagram account that you and Gianni kind of snuck in some snacks for yourselves in between takes.
Yes. So Gianni and we had like one scene during the tournament, and the tournament itself took a couple of days of filming. And we were one of the last scenes filmed. So after these couple of days, sometimes they would put us up there in the bleachers, and they would only film us like clapping, and we never really got to our scene towards the end of filming the tournament. And so we would be up there for a while, and we'd be surrounded by these extras. And I knew that we were going to get hungry, so we decided to put some snacks from Crafty in my purse that I had with my outfit, and we just kind of set up camp up there and played some games, and we had a good time.
You guys played I Spy.
Yep, we played I Spy, which he won most of the time only because I wasn't wearing my glasses. I want to make that clear. So if I was wearing my glasses, I can assure you I would have beat him a couple of times at least.
In regards to Hawk, who is, Eli Hawk, what do you think is it about him that made Moon take interest? Because when we first meet Eli, he's in the cafeteria, and Yasmin's character, she talks about how it looks like, I kind of forget the line, but she says something about maybe he went down on a vacuum cleaner, I think. I think that was the line.
Was it a lawnmower?
A lawnmower. Okay. So,
yes.
So what is it now that made Moon take interest? Was it the karate, as Johnny says, like hot chicks like karate? Or is it his new persona, this Hawk character with the mohawk and the swag?
I think that maybe what first got her attention was, his persona, just his presence. I think the confidence, and how he portrayed that personality of being like the badass and not really caring what people think. I think it really caught her by surprise. I think it piqued her interest, and I think, who knows at this point, honestly. I think it had to do with just his whole presence, maybe.
Now, everybody always asks actors about the backstories that they create for their characters, but I'm always curious, where do you think the characters are going to be later on? It's like 10 years down the road, where do you see Moon? Do you see her as like some kind of business professional, or maybe some kind of middle manager, or what do you think she's going to end up as?
A dispensary.
Well, I think maybe she'll pursue YouTube, possibly. Maybe she'll be an influencer.
There you go.
I could see that. I could really see that, actually.
Yeah, I feel like she really enjoys social media and I think talking to people in that sense. Maybe doing some yoga tutorials, who knows? I'd like to think maybe she would go to college, but maybe that's not her path. I think she's definitely a people person, so I think it would have to do maybe with business or something where she's like socially interacting with other people.
Yeah, I like the whole YouTube angle, and maybe being like working in PR or something. Be a publicist of some sort, social media. Yeah, I could see something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom, do you have any other questions about Cobra Kai? Maybe we can learn some more stuff about Hannah.
Actually, I was going to ask her if she has any upcoming projects besides the secretive Cobra Kai Season 2 that she can't confirm or deny.
Except for that, she would like to learn karate.
Exactly. I don't really know if I can talk about it, but I have a project in the works that I'm very excited about. So I guess you guys will just have to stay tuned.
We will.
Yes, congratulations.
We'll definitely keep tab.
Yes,
and
thank you.
obviously the next thing on your mind is graduation. Well, no, you got another year. That's right.
I've got one
more
whole
year
left. Yes.
What is it like out in public now that Cobra Kai has been announced for a second season? A lot of people probably have seen it now. Are people out there catching you out on the street asking for selfies and such?
So I live in a smaller town, and kind of the only people who have talked to me about it are people that I know or that I'm kind of friends with or associated with. I haven't had any strangers physically come up to me, but I've had a lot of messages and comments from people telling me that they've enjoyed the show or they want to know what happens to Moon. But it's been crazy. I am not used to it yet.
Oh, either way, I just want to say congratulations on the success, and I hope everything turns out your way in the future.
Well, thank you very much.
And before we wrap up, there's definitely a couple other things that I kind of want to talk about.
Oh, sure.
I did notice that just a few months ago you participated in the March for Our Lives out there in North Carolina.
Yes, I had the fortune of working with 9 other high school students in bringing this march to my town. We thought it was a very prevalent issue and still a prevalent issue, and we wanted to bring that platform of advocacy to our town.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. To kind of also bring up Cobra Kai and how thematically they talk about bullying and all that. And this isn't quite the same, but it's definitely it's something that needs to be brought to a lot of people's attention. Can you talk about the slam poetry that you also performed?
Oh, yeah. So I had the pleasure of performing an original work by my friend Audrey, who also performed it with me. And we performed it live at the March. And that was one of the most powerful performances and experiences I've ever had. We performed in front of I think we had around, I don't want to misquote the estimate amount of people. We had thousands of people that were present. And just the level of passion that the people showed in response to our words, it blew me away. And it was very encouraging to know that many people wanted to make a change and advocate for what they thought was right.
5 years old. My friends and I spend hot summer days playing with Nerf guns in the backyard. The cold sting of water sending a tingling sensation down my skin, but never digging into my flesh as my parents call me in for dinner, telling me to put it in the garage. It isn't meant to be inside. 8 years old.
The boys in Miss Brown's class run about the classroom firing noises in all directions with plastic pistols, telling the girls they'll protect us from harm. The same ones they push to the pavement on the playground. Good guys and bad guys are relative terms even then.
12 years old. My teachers stand with solemn faces that mask their fear as they tell us that 20 children have gone to heaven and church will be held earlier than expected. Don't ask questions, they said. It hurts too much.
17 years old.
16 years old. 17 dead in Parkland, Florida on the day dedicated to love.
I hear the deafening silence on the intercom as we are asked to send.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
We are tired of thoughts and prayers that are uttered from the mouths of politicians too weak to make legislation for a nation bearing the corpses of the future. But don't judge Congress too harshly.
It must be hard to hear us when standing behind the millions the NRA give your campaigns.
The National Rifle Association.
Every shot they hear must be music to their ears.
It might as well be the clicking of a cash register. At least someone profits off dying millennials and the wails of their parents.
When they told us school was like a hole in the head, we didn't know how literal that was.
Hands up doesn't just mean asking a question anymore. They tell me I'm safe and I try to believe them, but it's hard to have faith behind a locked closet door. The only barricade between my classmates and an AR-15. When will we stop letting children be used as target practice?
The shooter knows his target has been reached when the soft flesh of a student has been penetrated and their pencil falls to the ground, the utensil for the math test they'll never take.
Education, they say, is our tool to success, but how is that so when fear is as abundant as my papers that are scattered with grades that don't matter? If all our tomorrows are placed in jeopardy.
Books used to be the most powerful weapon we could possibly possess.
But if a student holds To Kill a Mockingbird in one hand and a semi-automatic weapon in the other, guess which one will be ripped from their grasp?
School safety now means handing teachers guns, but God forbid we hand them a decent paycheck in return. How am I supposed to learn if the hand over my heart isn't to whisper, I pledge allegiance?
Our bodies are not chambers to store bullets, and they never should be! The Sunshine State lost 17 rays of light to hate by the bullets that punctured the horizon.
Silence and profits have become a comfort for some and holds America's tongue. But our voices are louder than the shots that were fired!
This is for Alyssa
And Scott
and Martin
and Nicholas
and Aaron
and Jamie
and Chris
and Luke
and Kara
and Gina
and Joaquin
and Elena
and Meadow
and Helena
and Alex
and Carmen.
and Peter. This is for the youth whose fate has been carved on their tombstone.
This is for me,
The teen that's been subjugated to social media and selfies, but whose mind was never put at ease by the adults who have failed us. This is my life. These are our lives. And we may not be bulletproof, but this movement is.
It is very powerful and very moving.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And that concludes our conversation. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Tom, I had a good time talking to her.
Yeah. I think I kind of got the impression that maybe we were asking a little too much about Cobra Kai season 2, but you know what? I couldn't help it. I'm a fan of the show.
Yeah, take it however you want to take it from what she said. I don't even want to say it was telling, but I am looking forward to hearing whether or not she's in the next season. Again, in our coverage, I don't know. At this point, the episode hasn't released yet, but we already have it recorded. But we talk about that scene at the beach, where Moon kind of turns. And, so I would love to see her back.
Now, I want it on the record that if Moon does go to Cobra Kai, I came up with the idea first, dang it.
So you guys heard it here at
Get
Quartet
me my
Heart.
union card.
There, you know what? Just give me a Cobra Kai gi. That's all I want, Tom.
That's all I want.
There you go. Just send a couple our way. Maybe our names embroidered in it.
Oh, that'd be so badass.
So please. But I want to thank Hannah again for giving us the opportunity. She was extremely cool. She had a great personality. You can tell she's a very, very happy person.
Yes.
We wish her the best in, the beginning of her career here in film.
So, Peter, where can people find you when we're not spouting on about how much we love this show?
Well, where can't they find me? But if you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Podstalgic.
All right. As far as myself, you can find me on YouTube at The Drunken Dork. You can also hit me up on Facebook at a little web page called Jake and Tom Conquer the Group. And you can listen to me wherever you find a podcast.
And if you are a Cobra Kai fan and you want to join a group with other fans, we started a group page on Facebook called www.CobraKai.TVAMB group, all spelled out. So there's just a handful of us in there, but we hope to have listeners like you join in and talk all things Cobra Kai, whether it's the interviews that we conduct or the reviews that we've done on each of the episodes. So hopefully we can see you guys in there.
Yeah. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of thinking about the whole Georgia thing still. About how,
crazy.
that's the reason why we didn't really see the original Cobra Kai building.
Yeah, see? So we just thought maybe it was filmed on a different road. But hopefully you guys subscribe to the show if you haven't already done so to check out the remaining episodes. And if you're tuning in for the first time, go back and check out the previous, I think 6 or 7 episodes at this point. We had a lot of fun, and I think we released at least, 2 or 3 episodes a week, so it's not going to be very hard to find going back.
No, not at all.
All right, so that's going to do it. Thank you guys for checking us out, and we hope to hear you guys in the future.
See you next time.